Got some interesting things to do today. First of all, I don't think I did that bad of a job on my Prancer video, but there's some things that I just did not include in that one that I'm going to include in this one. I've got a couple stories to tell, and the second one is hard to believe it even happened. But it did. We're also going to go back and revisit 3 of the movie sites that I visited before, only I'm going to do a whole lot better job. Better video quality, I've got more information, and I'm really close to the exact spot of where these things happen. And finally, I've got some special bonus footage. I think I'm the only one that's filmed it in the last 30 years. Stay with me.
And that's What's Up with Richard.
Welcome back, everyone. And if you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by. And if you want to add variety to your day, expand your horizons, then go ahead and touch the subscribe button below and that reminder bell. I wouldn't want you to miss the next episode of What's Up with Richard. Take a look at this photo. In the second pew back, you're going to see Jessie. To her right, her brother Steve. Behind Jessie, there's a blank spot in the pew, and then there's her friend Carol. But we're not interested in those 3 characters right now. Please check out the young gal behind Steve. Now, what's important about that gal behind Steve? Well, that happens to be my son's mother-in-law. And she was nice enough to share her experience in being an extra in the movie Prancer. Now, when it was time to film that scene, she was told to dress like you would go to any other service. And that's exactly what she did, dressing in her prettiest pink blouse. However, when she got there, they thought that blouse might stand out a little bit too much in that scene, so they gave her that, as she described it, that sort of drab gray sweater. And when she said it, she didn't sound like she was really thrilled to put that on. She also said that they were paid $15, which is around $31 or so in our money today. And she also said that they were all told Cloris Leachman was off limits. Now, that's not the first time I'd heard that Cloris Leachman was off limits. No, there was a movie trailer on the making of Prancer. One of the interviewees said that exact same thing. She didn't make many friends in the village of Three Oaks. Now, someone even closer to the filming gave me a reason why, which was substantiated by my son's mother-in-law. But Cloris is, 93 years old now. She's not here to defend herself, so I'm just going to keep that to myself. Another place I thought I did a fairly good job was at the Christmas tree lot by Dryers. And it was pretty interesting because when I took this photo, a fella came out of the store behind me and started talking to me, and he asked me if I was taking pictures of the town. And when I explained what I was doing, he said, "Well, have you talked to the director?" I said, "The director? The director of the movie?" He said, "Yeah, he's a personal friend of mine. Come on in, we'll give him a call." And lo and behold, we went into the store. He got a cell phone. He dialed the number, talked for a few minutes, and gave me the phone. To say the least, I had no clue what to say. I pretty much stumbled through that short conversation I had with him. But pretty much all I did was tell him that I was making a very amateurish video of the movie Prancer, filming locations as they were in the movie and as they are now. And Michael took the phone back, said goodbye, and I had just had a conversation with the director of Prancer. I still don't believe it happened. And now I'd like to shout out a few thank yous. First of all, to those nice folks who worked at the United Methodist Church at Three Oaks, and the pastor, Brenda Ludwig, for allowing me access to the church. I also want to thank Michael, and I'm sorry, Michael, I never did get your last name after all the time we talked, but I want to thank you for introducing me to the director. And also, I want to thank John D. Hancock for giving up a couple minutes of his day to make mine very special. And now let's head out onto the road and revisit those places where I think I could have improved. Okay, a 30-minute drive to New Carlisle, Indiana brings me back to Mrs. McFarlands' house, where Jessie and Carol, played by Ariana Richards, go sledding and Jessie damages Mrs. McFarland's flowers. Later in the movie, she returns to apologize and helps her clean her house for $5. Jessie needs money to feed Prancer oats. This house has quite a history. It was built in 1860 by Jeremiah Service. It's in the Italianate style architecture, usually built of masonry, 2 stories, gently sloping roofs with heavily bracketed cornices. A cupola or tower is usually square, right in the center, you can see it up there, of a gently sloping roof. This one also has, and I'll try and scroll in here a little bit, an onion dome on the top. If you think of onion domes, you can think of Eastern churches. This style of home was popular in the United States from 1830 to 1873. Now, this is called in town the Republic House. In fact, it sat vacant for over 30 years and was scheduled for demolition in 1998 as it had been vandalized. It had become a fire hazard. It was saved that year by Historic New Carlisle Incorporated. And I believe it right now it's in the National Register of Historic Places. And over $1.4 million has been spent to rehabilitate this old building. That is so cool. Right now it serves as a bed and breakfast. Now in the movie, this would have been the spot where Jessie was sledding and escaped after damaging Mrs. McFarland's flowers underneath the iron gate. The iron gate is no longer there, but this is the spot where it would have been. Now, one thing they did when they rehabbed this house was to restore the landscape back to the way it was originally. Back in the 1960s, there was a fellow who owned this house who actually, from what I read, turned this into a car lot. And he had dug out much of the ground down here, and that's where he parked his cars. But now it's back to the way it was. There's that train. When Jessie was running to see Doc Benton, which is just right down in front of where we are, a train was coming by. In the movie Prancer, when Jessie was heading to find Doc Benton, she would have been running right across here. And the train you see in the movie would have been right on those tracks over on the right side of the screen. And we're walking over to the exact location this time where Jessie would have been looking for Doc Benton. And Abe would have been on a truck right there. And Jesse would have been standing right there at that loading dock. Pretty quiet on a Sunday. And there's that white building in the background. So, Rebecca Harrell, Jesse, Abe Vigoda, Doc Benton would have been right here 30 years ago. Back at the site of the former Maple Lane Mall, now called LaPorte Town Square, this is where Jesse Rebecca Harrell goes to the mall to plead with Mall Santa, played by Michael Constantine of My Big Fat Greek Wedding fame, to help her. She needs to let the real Santa Claus know that Prancer is at her farm. In the movie in 1989, we see a thriving mall busy with shops and shoppers. Not so much in 2019. In fact, it was scheduled to be torn down. All but the Big K, which I think closed in 2017, and Al's Supermarket were to remain. However, it was repurchased, and there are a few stores here. Dunhams Sports is now located where Jesse entered the mall. Now, researching the mall, I found a City by the Lake, which is Michigan City's message board. And there was an article by Andrew Tallickson, I believe from the News Dispatch, the Michigan City newspaper. And he interviewed John D. Hancock, who was the director of the movie. And he stated that filming was done in one day with the two main characters. And 30 to 40 extras. Mr. Hancock stated, uh-oh, something big's happening in town. Mr. Hancock stated, I remember it so clearly, fondly actually, it all went so smoothly. So anyway, this would have been the exact spot where we saw Jesse head into the mall. Now you can see we have some pillars here that weren't here 30 years ago. Dunham has really done this well. Now I'm going to go inside and see if I can find anything. See what happens. Just finished taking a walk on the inside, and it's just Dunhams Sports. There is no resemblance whatsoever of the mall that we saw in the movie. In the last scene of the movie, Santa is flying over Three Oaks. And this is the model that they used in the filming of that final scene. This is really cool.